Thank you, Mr Speaker. A question for the Minister of Agriculture. What are the names of the members of the Animal Ethics Committee that approved the experiment at AgResearchs Ruakura facility in 2009, which resulted in genetically engineered calves carrying human genetic code, whose ovaries grew so large that they ruptured and killed the animals?
The Honourable Dr Wayne Mapp.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Agriculture, I will not name the individuals on any Animal Ethics Committee. To do so could potentially put the individuals and their families and property at risk. Members of Animal Ethics Committees must include senior members of the organisation, in this case AgResearch, an independent veterinarian, an SPCA representative and a person nominated by the local territorial authority. I do not want to deter individuals with an interest and expertise in animal ethics from putting their names forward in this important role.
Supplementary. Why should it be left to one committee whose membership is secret and which meets in secret to decide on the significant animal welfare and ethical issues involved in creating genetically engineered animals with human genetic material in them?
The Honourable Dr Wayne Mapp.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Agriculture, I just want to restate the actual membership of this committee to indicate its balance. It first has a member of the organisation itself, a senior member. Second, it has an independent veterinarian. Third, it actually has a member of the Society for Protection of Animals. And fourth, a person nominated by the local territorial authority. It's worth noting the question is about animal ethics, and I would have thought the membership of the committee does accurately reflect the concerns that the member is concerned about.
Sue Kedgley.
Does he agree that the public has a right to be consulted about the ethical and animal welfare implications of inserting human genetic material into animals and fundamentally altering their nature and properties?
The Honourable Dr Wayne Mapp.
Well, in effect, this is all dealt with by the Environmental Risk Management Authority, which does have a process involved in it, and very extensive, as the member knows. So it's not the Ethics Committee itself that deals with the original application. It's actually IRMA that does deal with the original application, which gets to the point that I think the member is raising.
Point of order, Sue Kedgley.
Yes, Mr Speaker, I did ask a very carefully phrased and very specific question. Does he agree the public has a right to be consulted about these issues, yes or no?
I invite the Minister to reply a little more. I'm sure the Minister can reply to that, can answer that question. I invite him to do so. The Honourable Dr Wayne Mapp.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of... Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Agriculture, the specific reason I mentioned the IRMA process, because that is an extensive process. The precise methodology of exactly how IRMA conducts its inquiries I'm not entirely clear of as to whether or not it actually has a public component or not, but my recollection is that it does, but I would need to verify that.
Sue Kedgley.
Given that IRMA doesn't consider ethical and animal welfare issues, who is responsible for ensuring that there is a public debate about the ethical and animal welfare implications of genetically engineered cross-species animals, now that the organisation previously responsible for this work, namely the Bioethics Council, was axed by the key government in March of last year?
The Honourable Dr Wayne Mapp.
Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, can I note at this point that the Minister of Agriculture, when he became aware that the calves had died, immediately sought advice from the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries on the animal welfare implications. He was satisfied that the advice from Mapp was that the Animal Ethics Committee had acted properly and in accordance with the Animal Welfare Act. So it was considered that the Animal Ethics Committee did properly deal with the issues raised by the member.
Point of order, Sue Kedgley.
Of order. Point of order.
Order is being considered.
My point of order is, again, it was a very simple, straightforward question. Who is responsible for ensuring there is a public debate now that the Bioethics Council has been disbanded? The Minister was obviously reading some answer to a question, but I think it was the wrong question that he was seeking to answer, and I'd respectfully request if he could answer my question.
I say to the Minister, having heard the member's question again, could he answer a little more precisely to what the member's asking him? I realise it's not easy for an acting minister, but if he has the information, he may not have the information. One has to be reasonable on these matters.
The
Honourable Dr. Wayne Mapp.
On behalf of the Minister, Mr. Speaker, I, in my capacity as the Minister of Research, Science and Technology, will be seeking a report on the results of this particular program.
Point of order, the Honourable Darren Hughes.
Mr. Speaker, the Minister's is answering on behalf of another Minister. He's not the acting Minister. I don't believe the Minister's out of the country, so he's not answering in his own stead as the acting Minister of Agriculture. He's answering on behalf, so he can't start giving an answer about what he's doing in another portfolio. As interesting though that might be, it's not an order.
The member's point is a perfectly sound point, that the Minister should be answering on behalf of the Minister of Agriculture, and it may be the Minister doesn't have the necessary information, but he should try to answer the member's reasonable question. The Honourable Dr. Wayne Mapp.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Agriculture, the Minister of Agriculture has been advised. Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Agriculture has been advised by the Minister of Research, Science and Technology that a report will be sought from Sir Peter Gluckman, the Prime Minister's Chief Science Advisor, who is an acknowledged expert on growth and development and these issues, and that, I believe, will deal with some of the concerns being raised by the member.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker, please, I seek your protection in this issue. I asked who is...
Order. Members know that points of order should be heard in silence, even if they don't like them. What I can say to the Honourable Member, though, in fairness, as Speaker, I've asked the Minister to give a more precise answer on 2 occasions. I don't believe I can do more. I think the member needs to go on to her next supplementary question, because quite clearly the Minister does not have the information to.
Speaking to the point of order, there must be who's responsible for ensuring a public debate now that Bioethics Council has been disbanded. Mr. Speaker, that is an incredibly simple question. Is the answer nobody? I mean...
Order. No, the member must not get into debating it. I've asked the Minister on 2 occasions now to give a more precise answer to the member's question. I don't believe we can take up more time of the House, because clearly the Minister doesn't have the information. Is this a point of order?
Well, adding to the...
Order. I'm on my feet, and I say to the Honourable Shane Jones, come on, a little decorum, please. Now, I'm getting a little frustrated here. I've asked the Minister on 2 occasions, when the member has repeated the information she was seeking in a reasonable question, to provide the information. Now, is the Minister, after 2 occasions in refusing to do that, now telling us he does have the information and wishes to answer the question? Is that what the Minister is trying to say? Because I invite him to do that if he has that information. The Honourable Dr. Wayne Mapp.
Mr. Speaker, I was going to add to my answer.
The Honourable Dr. Wayne Mapp.
In a way that I believe would assist the member's question. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, it is obviously possible for the member to make submissions to Sir Peter Gluckman. That is the way that these kinds of issues can be debated.
Sandra Gowdy.
The Minister of Agriculture, what action is the government taking in respect of this research?
The Honourable Dr. Wayne Mapp.
Mr. Speaker, as I have indicated, the Minister of Agriculture has been informed by the Minister of Research, Science and Technology that Sir Peter Gluckman, the Prime Minister's Chief Science Advisor, who is an acknowledged expert in these issues, to make a report. And indeed, I'm sure the member will make submissions to Sir Peter on this issue.
Sue Kedgley. I've called Sue Kedgley.
Does he agree that the experiment went horribly wrong? And can he guarantee that no further trials of this nature will be carried out in New Zealand?
The Honourable Dr. Wayne Mapp.